Welcome back to another Halloween special, and tonight I'm gonna review Phantasmagoria for the PC, and let's go! Phantasmagoria is a full-motion video horror point-and-click adventure that was developed and published by Sierra Online. It was released in 1995 for the PC-DOS, Windows 3.1 and Windows 95. The game was also released in 1997 in Japan only for the Sega Saturn, but over there it was called Phantasm. And yeah, the game is completely in the Japanese language, and there are two differences between the PC and the Sega Saturn version. Number one, the PC version has 7 CDs and the Sega Saturn version has 8 CDs. And yeah, the graphics are not that good as on the PC version, so in the end it was more or less a conversion from the PC version. And in 1996 Sierra also released a sequel to Phantasmagoria, this one Phantasmagoria: A Puzzle of Flesh, but I'm not gonna talk about this one in this episode. Sorry. Okay, Phantasmagoria was designed by Roberta Williams. She and her husband Ken Williams both founded Sierra Online, and Roberta Williams also created the famous King's Quest series. Phantasmagoria is rated adults only, so 18 years and up. And Phantasmagoria was one of the first games that was almost entirely shot in a blue screen studio. Like I mentioned before, the game has 7 CDs, and on each of those CDs there is one of the chapters of the game, which means that this game has 7 chapters. And in Phantasmagoria you play a novelist called Adrienne Delaney. She and her husband, a photographer called Don Gordon, bought an old mansion near a very small town called Nipawamset. And the game starts right after they spend their first night in their new home.
Morning, honey.
Good morning, sweetheart.
How about some coffee?
Yeah, big one. Somebody kept me up last night.
Well, I'm sorry. I had a nightmare. You didn't seem to mind so much last night.
Oh, no. It was probably just spending the night in a new house is all.
Yeah, I know. I have to admit, this place is kind of strange.
Yeah, it's different. You know, I bet the guy that built this place must have been really bizarre.
Well, hi, Spaz. How you doing, huh? Hey.
What are you gonna do today, sweetheart?
Well, I don't know. I'm almost finished unpacking. Thought maybe I'd do a little exploring.
Yeah.
How about you?
Did you see that bathroom yet on the 2nd floor?
Yeah.
I like that. I think I'm gonna turn it into a photo lab for myself. Keep me busy for a week or so.
That's a good idea.
What's in that box?
Well, I don't know. I haven't gone through it yet. Let's see. Oh, it's Christmas ornament. Oh, look at this.
What?
Just a sec. You remember this?
Yeah. Yeah, I gave you this for Halloween.
You rat? You know it was Christmas Eve. It was the night you proposed to me.
Are you sure I proposed to you?
Yes.
Of course I remember. Of course I do.
You're forgiven.
I better get to work. I got a lot to do. I'm gonna keep this little fella with me, though, so I'll always remember that fateful night.
Well, don't work too hard. See you later.
Like Adrian mentioned before, you start exploring the house. Since it's a point-and-click adventure, the controls are very simple. You have a cursor which looks like a golden/yellow cross. If there's anything on the screen that you can either take, interact with or talk to, then the cross turns red. And the cursor changes into an arrow every time when there's another room or place that you can go to, or sometimes just to get to the other side of the room. Below the game screen you have your inventory with 8 slots for all the items that you collect throughout the game. In the middle at the top you have a fast forward button. With this you can skip video scenes if you want to, and below you have the button for the options, which I'm gonna talk about later. On the right you have some sort of a demon or monster eye, which you can use to examine your items. On the left side you have the Red Skull, and no, this is not the villain from Captain America. He's actually better known as the Hint Keeper. He will give you a hint every time you click on him, like someone in town holds the key or the house awaits your return. So he roughly tells you where you should go next. It's really nice to have this feature, but I would really recommend that you only use it if you really got stuck and you have no clue what to do next. To use one of your items, just click on it and then move it to the game screen. The item will turn red if you can use it in this situation.
What the hell was that? All right. A token. I'll try it out. Evil will walk once more?
Right from the beginning, Adrian gets the feeling that here is something wrong with this house, and throughout the game the house communicates to her in form of illusions, showing her events that happened the last time people lived in this house. But we soon find out the problem is not the house, it is the former owner, Sultan Carno, a world-famous illusionist from the 19th century.
1897.
As it turns out, Sultan wasn't only interested in illusions, he wanted to do some real magic. Now, after a long search, he actually found a real piece of ancient magic, a magic book that belongs to the dark arts, full of spells and rituals.
Dear Jeremiah, it has come to my attention that you have recently acquired a unique book while traveling through Egypt this most recent winter.
It is my understanding that this tome contains powerful information regarding ancient rituals of sorcery and magic. I relish the thought of reading it. As you know, I am sometimes frustrated by the fact that I cannot really control the world around me. That my so-called magic is merely nothing more than illusions. Next month, I will be giving a show in Paris. Will you be in town then? If so, I would like to set up a meeting during which I could examine your fascinating acquisition. If the book is really authentic, I would be more than willing to pay a hefty sum for its purchase. I look forward to hearing from you. Best regards, Zoltan.
Blinded from the unknown power, or maybe without realizing it, he summoned a bloodthirsty demon, which immediately assimilated Sultan, quickly gaining control of his moods, mind and behavior. From that day on, Sultan changed dramatically, not to the public eye. No, he still was Carno, the great illusionist, but in his mansion he became a monster, aggressive, violent and mad. The only people who ever saw the monster behind his eyes were his 5 wives, and every time it was the last thing that they saw.
Well, well, look who's here. To my dear husband. Here's to you.
No, here's to you, Victoria.
So if this story wasn't disturbing enough, Adrian later finds out that the demon wasn't banned or destroyed with the death of Carno. Instead, it hid in the house, waiting all these years to get released again. And it looks like this time Dawn is on the menu. This is as much as I want to tell you about the storyline of Phantasmagoria. The puzzles in this game are for the most part very easy, and a lot of times the items that are required to solve a puzzle are located in the same area, or let's say nearby area. Overall, the game is pretty easy, except for 2 things. Number 1, a common problem with point-and-click adventures is that you sometimes lose direction and don't know where to go next, or you miss to pick up an item which is necessary somewhere else in the game. Phantasmagoria doesn't have that many locations. I mean, you have the mansion, the surrounding island and the very small town Nipawonset, but it is still enough to get lost in the game. And number 2 is the 7th and last chapter of the game. Again, I don't want to say too much or spoil anything, but the speed of the game changes completely. In the first 6 chapters you have all the time that you need. In chapter 7 you have to make decisions and use the right items in a matter of seconds, or Adrian dies in one of many horrible ways. This brings me to the options. In the options you can change sound settings, the video quality, you can change the game mode between censored and uncensored, which means in the censored mode all the gory and erotic scenes are overpixelated, so you can't really identify anything. And in the uncensored mode the game is uncut. The game is in uncensored mode right from the beginning, but when you change it to censored, you have to enter a password of your choice.
There we go.
And from now on you have to enter this password every time you change this mode. If you lose or forget the password, then you must install the game again. And of course you can load and save a game in the options. This is a little bit different than in other games, since the game is divided in chapters like in a book.
Yay, it worked.
Every chapter is also divided in sections, or actually bookmarks, that you reach after solving puzzles, for instance. So when you save the game, it will save the last bookmark that you've reached, and maybe not your current status in the game. One thing that I also have to mention is that if you save the game during chapter 7 and Adrian dies, this save status will be deleted. I know this sounds brutal, but don't worry. Thankfully, when you start a new game, you can select at which chapter you want to start the game. So if you want, you can start the game with chapter 7 and try it again. Also, when you start the game with chapter 2, 3, 4, whatever, you already have all the items that you should have collected so far. So it is able to finish the game without playing the whole game all over again. The last thing that is worth mentioning about the options is that you have a chapter progress bar on the top that shows you how far you are in the game. For 1995, I would really say that this game was technically impressive. The graphics are very nice with all the drawn backgrounds and the actors which were first recorded in a blue screen studio and then added in front of the backgrounds. Sure, sometimes they look a little bit out of place, and also I noticed a few times some small blue screen fragments around the actors, but for the most part it is well done and I think it still looks good today. I also think that the acting is not bad at all. It might not be Oscar material, but I've seen a lot worse. The music in Phantasmagoria is really good and adds so much to the atmosphere. So yeah, the music, in my opinion, is excellent.
Honey, you okay?
Oh, God. The bed.
What?
The bed grabbed me.
The bed grabbed you?
Yes.
Oh, here, calm down, calm down. Wait here, all right? Just wait here. I'll show.
No, don't.
Just calm down. See? It's okay. Look, see? Nothing wrong. Goodness. This old drafty house has your imagination going, doesn't it? Oh, sweetheart. I've got to get back to work. Are you going to be okay?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. Just calm down.
Okay.
One thing that I noticed while playing the game was that some of the editing during the dialogues is not that good. And what I mean is that there are some longer pauses in those dialogues, which makes the scenes a little bit weird.
Damn it, it's locked.
What do you want? I'm busy.
Well, come on, Don. I just came by to see what you were doing.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Honey, are you feeling all right? Does your head still hurt?
Adrian, leave me alone. I'm fine.
Well, how about a little dinner? You could come downstairs and help me. We could make a little pasta, maybe some salad, you know?
Yeah, sounds great. Call me when it's ready.
This is not a drawback for me or anything, but yeah, I just noticed it and I wanted also to mention it. One tip about the dialogues. As you might already notice, you can't choose any questions or steer the conversation in any direction. So you click on a person and watch the dialogue. Now my tip is that you talk to the persons repeatedly until the cursor doesn't change color anymore or the dialogues start repeating themselves, because it can happen that you might miss an important information. Now to the final question, is this game scary or not? And the answer is, it depends on the player. If you are a horror movie veteran and you never got scared no matter how gory, violent or crazy the movie was, then I guess this game will not scare you at all. But if you get scared easily while watching horror movies, then I would really recommend that you might not play this game at all. Phantasmagoria has no real shock scenes, but a couple of gory and disturbing death scenes, and for 1995 those scenes looked very realistic. So it is no wonder that this game has an adult-only rating. In my opinion, Phantasmagoria is a scary game. Not very scary, but enough to get the creeps, especially if you play it at night and turn up the volume.
September 14th, 1889. Dear Diary, I grow increasingly fearful of Zoltan. I feel the burn of his eyes upon me as he watches my every move. Did my little girl have such fears? Did she suffer when he snuffed out her baby life? How could people believe him when he said it was an accident? It was no accident. But, dear diary, Zoltan wasn't always like this. I remember, not so long ago, when he was loving and gay. He was overjoyed when Sophia was born. I know, I remember. But after his trip to Paris last year, he changed. Something happened to him. I don't know what. Now, all I have left are my plants. I spend most of my time in my greenhouse, as far away as I can get from Zoltan's ever-watchful eyes.
In the end, I think Phantasmagoria is a pretty cool horror point-and-click adventure and I would really recommend it for Halloween. Okay, we're at the end of my review of Phantasmagoria for the PC. I hope you enjoyed the show. Maybe see you next time. Take care and happy Halloween!